Okay, welcome everyone to the Alumni Wall of Fame induction ceremony. We're now going to welcome the Morristown High School Band with the processional. We honor America with the Pledge of Allegiance, and here's Mackenzie Fitzgerald.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We now welcome Morristown High School Principal, Mr. Manning.
It is my privilege and my honor to welcome everyone to our annual Heritage Day celebration and Alumni Wall of Fame induction ceremony. I believe that today's event is one of the unique traditions at Morristown High School, a celebration that recognizes the deep and rich history of our amazing school and provides us with an opportunity to celebrate our esteemed alumni. I want to thank Mr. Rooney and the Heritage Club, our Alumni Association and Mr. Ed Myers, and Mr. Armstrong and his students for their efforts and support that made today's celebration possible. Please allow me to take a moment to congratulate this year's alumni who will be inducted into our Wall of Fame. Their careers and accomplishments are certainly worthy of this honor and serve as examples of pride and inspiration for all of us associated with Morristown High School. Mr. Leslie Krause, a graduate of the class of 1950, an aeronautical engineer who served on the Apollo space program. Mr. Joseph Daniels, a member of the class of 1990, who was the former president and CEO of the 9/11 Memorial Foundation. In addition, I want to congratulate the families of the following two alumni inductees. Joseph Battaglia of the class of 1950, who was a highly decorated combat pilot during the Vietnam War, and Rylan Anderson, who was a member of the class of 1942 and a recipient of the Congressional Gold Medal of Honor for his service during World War II. My congratulations to these four Morristown High School Colonials and their families for their life accomplishments and for serving as role models for all of our students. Thank you, stay well, and please enjoy today's program.
We welcome Mr. Myers, President of the Morristown High School Alumni Association.
On behalf of the Alumni Association of Morristown High School, I want to welcome all to our 2021 Heritage Day program, our first virtual program due to this historic pandemic. Our Alumni Association was founded in 1885 to promote the best interests of Morristown High School, its students, and its alumni. I've had the pleasure of leading this organization for the last 12 of our 136-year history. Over 25 years ago, with the support of Morristown High School and Morris School District Administration, our Alumni Association founded the MHS Heritage Club, whose direct mission is to foster the continued improvement of Morristown High School through the dissemination of knowledge about the history and heritage of Morristown High School and the achievements of its students, teachers, and alumni. This led to the founding of the MHS Alumni Wall of Fame, our MHS Teachers Corner Recognition Program, and the MHS Athletic Gallery of Honor. Today, I'm excited to participate in our 25th anniversary Heritage Day celebration to honor all of our 2021 Wall of Fame inductees. Our MHS Wall of Fame inductees are chosen by our Heritage Club members from nominations that can be submitted by any member of our community globally. In order to be considered for induction into our MHS Alumni Wall of Fame, a nominee must be a graduate of Morristown High School, must be recognized as having consistently led a life that has brought honor to and reflects positively on the reputation and image of Morristown High School, must have attained a significant level of achievement that goes beyond what could normally be achieved or expected of the average graduate of Morristown High School, or an inductee who has, in a dignified and honorable way, led a life that exhibits an unusual level of dedication to Morristown High School. In addition, the individual must have graduated from Morristown High School at least 5 years prior to the date of the ceremony. To date, we have honored over 70 alumni on our MHS Alumni Wall of Fame. All of our nominees received by the Alumni Association and the Heritage Club are truly amazing individuals, reflective of the many wonderful alumni that have graduated from Morristown High School. The Heritage Club continues to honor our alumni with its annual program. This year's inductees are truly amazing. One worked on the Apollo and Saturn space missions, two are highly decorated veterans, and one oversaw the creation of the 9/11 Memorial and Museum in New York City before moving on to found the National Medal of Honor Museum. Each of these individuals have led very successful lives and admirable lives, while continuing to be devoted to their families, Morristown High School, our community, and to our country. I want to thank the members of the Heritage Club for all their hard work and dedication in putting together this 25th anniversary program this year. I hope all of you enjoy this Heritage Day program and are inspired by the lives that these wonderful alumni have led. Thank you.
We welcome President of the Heritage Club, Will Galbraith.
Hello, everyone. As president of the Heritage Club, I want to say welcome to the Heritage Day ceremony. Today, we remember why Morristown High School history is so important, and we would like to congratulate all the inductees and their families.
The Morristown High School Band will now play our alma mater.
When time and fortune cast their spell and youth's bright years are o'er, shall fondly dwell on years that are no more. For busy, carefree high school days and comrades tried and true. For these we lived our song of praise, dear Morristown too.
Matt Sibiri will now induct Joseph Daniels into the Wall of Fame.
When thinking of a person like Mr. Daniels, a quote that captures who he is goes as follows: "A leader who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." Joseph Daniels was a part of the class of 1990 at Morristown High School. After graduation, Daniels studied at the University of Washington in Missouri and went on to the University of Pennsylvania Law School. Moreover, Mr. Daniels' compassion and personal experience led him to become involved with being a visionary and key leader in the 9/11 Memorial and the National Congressional Medal of Honor Museum, which is expected to open in 2024. He's an exemplar that you might study one thing, but let your passion take you into a different direction. After witnessing 9/11 firsthand on his way to work, this American and New Yorker knew the importance of playing a part in healing the city and country. He became involved as a lead attorney for the 9/11 Memorial and Museum in New York City. Later, Mayor Bloomberg promoted him to oversee the entire $500 million project. Mr. Daniels oversaw the museum's grand opening in 2011 on the 10th anniversary. In his role as president and CEO, Mr. Daniels not only raised $500 million for the memorial and museum, but he took on the generous responsibility of directing the efforts to honor those affected by 9/11. From 2006 up until recently, Mr. Daniels humbly and honorably served as a leader for this project of compassion and American spirit. Daniels played a key role in deciding the memorial should mention the names of everyone killed in the towers and that the victims would be listed next to the people that they worked with. He described the biggest challenge with organizing the memorial was with working with so many different people, agencies, and most importantly, the families of the victims. He understood the sacredness of the ground where the towers once stood. Today, you can go and witness Mr. Daniels' incredible work. There is a gentle, calm waterfall that's in the spot where the foundation for the towers once stood. Millions of Americans visit this museum each year to learn of the past, remember friends and loved ones, and to heal. Although 9/11 was tragic, Mr. Daniels believes that the biggest takeaway is that America has an incredible ability to rally and come together during times of crisis. Mr. Daniels' leadership and compassion spills into other organizations as well. He recently took on the role of directing the future Congressional National Honor Museum to be based in Arlington, Texas. Here, they will honor the 3,500 recipients of the National Medal of Honor, America's highest military honor for those who demonstrate personal acts of valor. Mr. Daniels' work on this project involves serving as the lead advisor to the board of directors, which includes the owner of the Dallas Cowboys and honorary board members Bill Clinton, George Bush, Jimmy Carter, and Barack Obama. Mr. Daniels is also an active board member for the HOPE program in Brooklyn. The program offers job training, food, and emergency grants to New Yorkers in need. Mr. Daniels believes that to be successful, you need to be hardworking, but also lucky. And when you are fortunate, you should give back to others to promote their success as well. One other way that he volunteers is serving as his son's Little League coach. This might be the toughest job of them all. When interviewing Mr. Daniels, we were charmed that when he was a student at MHS, he enjoyed Suvio's pizza, school dances, and a trip to France, and some other things that he can't tell us about yet. He is so easy to talk to and comes across as just an ordinary guy that does extraordinary things. To this end, Joseph Daniels knows the importance of helping and honoring those who deserve it most. He leads the way through his involvement with the museums in the Hope program, and his attitude shows the way for others. It is also a unique coincidence that we are honoring Mr. Daniels in 2021 with the 20th anniversary of 9/11 swiftly approaching. And due to his effort to honor those Congressional Medal of Honor recipients, it is only fitting that we honor him today alongside these decorated veterans. The Alumni Association of Morristown High School and our Heritage Club is beyond honored to have the opportunity to recognize Mr. Daniels with induction into our MHS Alumni Wall of Fame under the virtue of leadership. Mr. Daniels, you're a ray of hope.
And now, Kate Augenblic will be inducting Leslie Krause into the Hall of Fame.
In the late 1750s, no English cleric and theologian, John Wesley, said, "Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as you ever can." This truly reflects the nature and spirit of Morristown High School graduate Leslie Krause, class of 1955. Mr. Krause thoroughly enjoyed his experience at Morristown High School and living in Morristown. Due to his family's relocation, Mr. Krause left Morristown and New Jersey on the day after his graduation. To his regret, he has never returned to Morristown, even for a visit, but our Morristown High School and community has been close to heart, and his support for Morristown High School and our students has been unwavering. Mr. Krause knows the values of academics, integrity, hard work, and generosity. This has truly guided him throughout his life. He worked hard to earn the funds to put himself through college and achieve his academic degrees. His thirst for knowledge and skills as an engineer gave him a solid knowledge base and community values that has defined his career, the pinnacle of which was working on the Saturn and Apollo space programs. His role in these space programs was a true asset to our space missions overall, and his contributions to these missions is one that we are incredibly proud of. Throughout Mr. Krause's career, he never forgot what it took for him to get where he was and the hard work and sacrifices that it took to fund his education. This led Mr. Krause to fund scholarships and programs within the Oklahoma community and nationally to help make college more affordable for our youth. Mr. Krause also gave generously to environmental causes, to preserving natural and land resources. Our Morristown High School graduates benefited from Mr. Krause's generosity greatly as well, and for many years, 2 Alumni Association scholarships were given in his name to Morristown High School seniors. Based on his legacy of working on the Apollo and Saturn space programs, Mr. Krause felt it was important to have a piece of that history reside at Morristown High School, and along with our Alumni Association, went to great effort to secure a heat shield from the space shuttle, which today is displayed in a case at our science department. Mr. Krause has also held collaborative discussions with student scholars here at Morristown High School in the sciences. While we greatly regret we have never had the opportunity to host Mr. Krause here at Morristown High School since his graduation, we are in awe of all that he has achieved and continues to achieve in life, and for the incredible example he has put for those who have succeeded and to turn and lift up those who fall behind us. It is for the wonder life he has lived that we are proud to induct Mr. Leslie Krause of the Morristown High School class of 1955 into our Morristown High School Wall of Fame under the virtue of generosity.
Will Galbraith will now induct Rylan Anderson into the Wall of Fame.
Dr. Martin Luther King accurately embodies the character of Rylan Anderson when he once said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." Rylan was born in 1922 in Richmond, Virginia, but moved to Morristown as a young boy. As a kid, he helped his family find coal by running along the train tracks to heat their home, because they had no heat of their own. Living through the Great Depression taught him to work hard, and in 1942, Rylan graduated from Morristown High School. After graduation, he chose to serve the country he loved and enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. Despite his dedication to serving the country, Mr. Anderson and many of his fellow soldiers were not allowed to train at Parris Island. He was forced to complete his basic training at Montfort Point, a segregated base in North Carolina for African American soldiers. The Montfort Point Marines then went on to fight in Iwo Jima, Okinawa, and Guam. Yet even as they worked to bring freedom to the world, these heroes found their own freedoms restricted. Former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid is quoted saying that the Montfort Point Marines rode in the back of troop trains, ate at separate lunch counters, and used different bathrooms. They were trained to fight injustices overseas. Meanwhile, they suffered discrimination every day. Risking life and limb in a far-off land, men like Ryland dreamed of bringing home justice for themselves. But the Montfort Point Marines did not return to a hero's welcome. The home front was as treacherous as the land they had fought on. Home from war, Mr. Anderson found himself fighting a second battle against segregation. The country he had fought so hard to protect had seemingly forgot the sacrifice he made in its name. However, he did not let adversity stop him, and he never let bitterness sour his day. Ryland was a deeply spiritual man who modeled himself after his hero, Jesus Christ. He worked any job that he could, and those who knew him always spoke of how hard he worked for everything he had. His spirituality led him to be active as a chairman at Calvary Baptist Church in Morristown, a role model of faith and dedication to everyone around him. Yet, decades after his time in the military, he still went without recognition for his dedication in the armed services. Luckily for Mr. Anderson, the community he gave so much to eventually gave back to him. In his retirement years, Ryland enjoyed spending time at Murphy's Garage in Morristown. He spoke often with Mr. Murphy, whose son was also a Marine. As they shared stories and spent time together, Mr. Murphy realized that Ryland had never been honored for his time in the military. After making some calls, he found out that the government had lost record of the Montfort Point Marines. They had forgotten Ryland. Mr. Murphy wouldn't let that stand. On November 23, 2011, former President Barack Obama would formally recognize the Montfort Point Marines by signing legislation to award the Congressional Gold Medal of Honor to all those Marines who served at the segregated base. But Ryland wasn't among them. The government had forgotten Ryland again. It took multiple phone calls by the Murphys and proof of Ryland's service through his discharge papers for the country to recognize its mistake. Finally, Mr. Anderson was recognized in 2017 when the mayor of Morristown, Tim Doherty, presented him with his Gold Medal of Honor. While he could not be in Washington with his fellow Marines, Ryland got to receive his high honor in a place he loved, the Calvary Baptist Church, in front of the entire congregation. He was so proud of this honor that in his otherwise spotless house, his Congressional Gold Medal lay in a place of honor on Mr. Anderson's kitchen table. Ryland Anderson is described by friends and family as having been an extremely humble man with a deeply moral value. He loved to exercise as he walked and biked well into his 90s. Always a sharp man, he drove himself everywhere. Everyone who came into contact with Mr. Anderson sang his praises. He was a pillar of honor and dedication to all who had the privilege of speaking with him. Mr. Anderson stood tall no matter what lay ahead. While he is unfortunately no longer with us, we would like to take this opportunity to celebrate the admirable man that Morristown High School is honored to have taught. Mr. Anderson reminds us how rich Morristown High School's history is and why it is important for us to always keep the past in mind. You were a hero to many, Ryland, and we regret that you weren't recognized sooner. We honor you today not only for your military career, but for your life spent in service to this community. We will always remember your legacy, and we strive every day to be as strong and kind as you were. On behalf of the Heritage Club and the Alumni Association, we congratulate Mr. Ryland Anderson for being inducted into the MHS Alumni Wall of Fame under the virtue of perseverance.
Ciaran Myers will now induct Joseph Battaglia into the Wall of Fame.
Winston Churchill said, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." Joseph Battaglia of the Morristown High School class of 1950 lived a life of honor throughout his years at Morristown High School, as well as throughout his life. While at Morristown High School, Mr. Battaglia excelled in academics and was at the top of his class. According to his classmates, he was very well liked and known for his dependability and friendliness all in the school. These qualities gained him the respect and popularity that would ultimately get him elected as the president of the Morristown High School class of 1950. Athletically, Mr. Battaglia demonstrated his skill in a variety of sports at Morristown High School, including baseball, basketball, and football. While on the Morristown High School football team, Mr. Battaglia excelled quickly, getting a spot on the varsity team in his sophomore year. In 1948, he helped bring the team to a state championship, playing the position of left guard on our high school's historic 1948 championship football team. Mr. Battaglia's academic, athletic, and extracurricular activities and accomplishments while at Morristown High School provided him with the opportunity to commit to Lehigh University in his junior year with a scholarship. While attending Lehigh University, Mr. Battaglia not only concentrated on obtaining his business degree, but committed a career to serving our country, registering for the Air Force ROTC program. After his graduation from Lehigh in 1954, Mr. Battaglia began his honorable and distinguished military career as a second lieutenant in the United States Air Force. He first worked as a navigator, flying air refueling tankers. In the Cold War, he played an important role, transitioning roles to fly reconnaissance aircraft and fulfilling strategic reconnaissance duties. He also served during the Vietnam War. Mr. Battaglia would later earn his MBA degree from the University of Dayton and continue his service in Air Force Logistics Command. Throughout his impressive career, he earned many awards and commendations for his heroism and service to our country, including the Legion of Merit with 1 Oak Leaf Cluster, the Distinguished Flying Cross with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, the Meritorious Service Medal, the Air Medal with 3 Oak Leaf Clusters, and an Air Force Commendation Medal with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters. Mr. Battaglia concluded his 30-year service in the Air Force as commander of Hill Air Force Base in Utah with the position of colonel. He applied his business and education experience in a 10-year career with the Campbell Soup Company, while continuing to support our country, serving on the Executive Council of the Sacramento chapter of the Air Force Association for 5 years. In addition to his distinguished military and business careers, Mr. Battaglia also dedicated his life to his family. Following his retirement, Mr. Battaglia spent time traveling with Ruth, his beloved wife of 65 years, and enjoyed time with his 6 children, Gail, Ciaran, Lisa, Joe, Mary, and Beth, as well as his grandchildren. Mr. Battaglia was a model student at Morristown High School in academics, athletics, as a student leader and a friend to many. His distinguished life as a decorated member of our military, dedication to his faith, family, and the United States of America provides us with a true role model for our own lives. It is for these admirable qualities and honorable life that the Morristown High School Alumni Association and our Heritage Club honor Joseph Battaglia with a place on the Morristown High School Wall of Fame with the virtue of valor. Joseph Battaglia passed away on November 20th, 2020, but he will always be remembered and memorialized here as Morristown High School as one of the finest.
Thank you so much for watching, and congratulations to all of our inductees. The Morristown High School Band will now present the recessional.